Going to the third bullet for Joe. Again, I love these bullets. I love these bullets. One of the big takeaways from this article is that, she was worried about her daughter and what her daughter was going to think about, dumbing herself down. And she wanted to empower her daughter to really step up and stand out. And so while she was kind of publicly incensed and she was trying to, exhibit good sportsmanship, truly, she was very concerned about her daughter having the mindset of settling for less than you're capable of. But knowing at the same time, she wanted her to be able to leverage their experience to create value for others at the same time. So she was filled, of course, with love and, was eager to help. And, with her daughter, she was so excited that her daughter was, paying attention at the same time and really wanted to do the right thing. And I think that brings truly to the light of we always have someone watching us, whether it's our kids, whether it's our spouse, whether it's your church or your community, it's how you're leading. And I think that is probably one of the key takeaways, because you don't ever want to dumb yourself down, or forget things or choose to stay small. You just don't want to deny or diminish or discount what you've worked for and achieved at all. I just think that's the whole thing. But again, we don't want to just blend in and play small.
It's funny that there's three things that I share with my son often. And the first one is, I tell him this all the time, son, you have to make sure you're defending the family name, right?
Absolutely.
Your
you're
mother
a vag
and I
known.
That's right. That's
yes.
right. You're as if that's something, right? You understand
it is
that,
something.
Right? That's right.
It is.
That's
this
right.
is your whole. This is what you've worked your life for.
That's
it's your
absolutely
namesake,
correct.
your reputation.
But what's so unique about that and amusing to me is I did not grow up with that. You understand?
Right.
So when I make that
not
statement,
many of us did.
That's correct. And my son laughs at me and he says, "Oh yeah, like our name is like Trump." And I said, "Son, it is.
It is.
It is.
Absolutely."
And so if you allow them to believe they're a part of something bigger than themselves, they will rise to the occasion of that. And when I knew it was working was when my older brother, Uncle Mike, who some of you know, he was one of my first co-hosts when we started this thing. He came to my son's lacrosse game, and it's like a big deal. My older brother and I are football people, so lacrosse, you don't have too many hits, but once in a while you'll put somebody on the ground. It's a big deal. Well, my son popped somebody and put him on the ground, and so the first thing my son did when at the end of the game, he came up to Uncle Mike and said, "Uncle Mike, did I make our family proud by that hit? Did you like that?" And I just started laughing because I realized after years of me saying this, I realized that he gets it, that it is about more than just you. And if you realize you're carrying not only the family name, but everything else moving forward, it's such a powerful feeling that you really do want to be part of something bigger and better.
Right.
And so that's the first thing that I taught him, I think, is just a healthy conversation. And it's very healthy in business to do the exact same thing.
Yes, it is. You're branding. You're branding your son. You're teaching him what the Vagno name is. I mean,
absolutely.
We did that with ours. Whenever they were very young, we did the same thing. We were like, "You're a Porta. Portas do this, or Portas don't do this."
That's absolutely correct.
So that they would understand that name is attached, and it's really it's a part of something
it's good
bigger.
enough for Trump. It's good enough for
We're
Porta.
Vagno.
That's right. Absolutely. And the second thing is you have to let people around you see your successes.
Absolutely.
It's okay to pat yourself on the back and say, "You know what? I did this. I did this." And it's okay to see that and show that, especially your children. Let them see those successes. And the last one is they've got to see the failures. I learned more from your mistakes and my older brother's mistakes, than anything else. And so I tell people I'd rather for my son to learn from my mistakes than for him to have to learn it all over again. So those three things, defining your brand or your family name, showing and defending successes, and also don't be embarrassed at failures. I mean, it happens. Well, we all make mistakes.
I tend to look at failure as, it's just a wonderful trial because, it talks about counting in all his blessings, the trials that you go through. And I truly am a big advocate of that because it's really information, Joe. It's just information that we can build upon. So I think that that's really key. In wrapping this article up again, it was so rich in her experience of what she went through, but also the key teachings that we also keep our voice, that we are rooted in authenticity, because personal integrity is really non-negotiable. And I love that when she said it, because you can be sensitive and situationally aware of others, and you can make adjustments accordingly, but you can never subjugate your strength, or minimize your experience, because, this is your story. And I think that's wonderful that we were allowed to have that story, for sure. Sharon Reed, again, I can't wait to have her on the show.
So we're going to have Sharon on the show.
We're going to have her on the show, and you're going to be just...
You tell her, bring bullet points. Without bullet points, we're not letting her on.
I promise. But, Joe, before we kind of move on to something else, I do want to say something about the standing up to dumbing yourself down. So often I see people truly kind of discounting their own experience or their own education or things like that. Even I heard you last week, you said something about, that your brother was the smart one, and because he'd had multiple degrees. Well, I'm going to say no. Yes, your brother is smart, and I'm very, very respectful of what he's accomplished and extremely proud. But Joe, you are so...
Say it.
You're
Go
amazing.
Exactly.
But I want to, okay, for the listeners that cannot see us in the studio this morning, the bell was just held up as like a little tease.
Your guest is over there trying to get Brian to ring that bell.
I know. But the truth is, I don't want to leave this for a second. I got to park here for just one more second, because what I want everybody to take away this morning is that, and Joe, more than anything for you too, you are enough no matter what you do or where you are right now. You are absolutely enough. And everything that you've done has been just a complete blessing, Joe, to so many that I know. So I want you to feel so proud and never, ever to feel like you need to dumb yourself down.
And honestly, those of you listening, she's not really speaking to me. She's speaking to all of you.
Absolutely.
This is something all of you should feel this way, which is why I love Hilary Porta. She makes you feel good.